Hello everybody and welcome back to Visit Fylde Coast. It's not the morning. You can probably tell that by the position of the sun over the sea, because usually it's the other way around. So this site is a little bit in the gloom at the moment as we're looking into the sun. But this is the site of what used to be the Derby Baths. And this is where the Derby Baths used to be. So today we're going to take a look both at the site itself, some of the interesting backstory to it, and we're going to take a look at some pictures of what it used to look like as well, because I know a lot of people used to frequent Derby Baths. It was a really popular haunt, and I didn't know until I started looking it up. But apparently, at the time when it was built, it was the only pool in Britain which had got Olympic facilities, which sounds a bit incredible today when you think about all the amazing sports facilities that there are everywhere. But nonetheless, that's the way that the story goes. And now all we see that was of it is a field. And of course, that's what used to be the Hilton Hotel until it was bought out. So, the Derby Baths. Well, I'm going to show you the pictures when we get down to the front, because that will make a lot more sense then. But it was designed by the borough architect, who was a guy called John Charles Robinson. And he created and designed a lot of the Blackpool that we see today. So all these sea frontages here, this Art Deco stuff, a lot of the buildings in Stanley Park, just a lot of all the consistent stuff that you see all over Blackpool. And it was actually built and opened on the 21st of July 1939. And ironically, it kind of put me a bit in mind of the current coronavirus pandemic, because obviously 1939 was not a good time. Not a good time in a lot more ways than 2020 is. But the opening that was planned for May 1940 obviously had to be put back a long way and pretty much cancelled because of the war. And Lord Derby was going to do the opening, and eventually his grandson, the Earl of Derby, did the opening ceremony. Wait for it. 25 years later, in 1965. So I'm just hoping that the things that we've been trying to do in 2020 and 21 are not going to be put off for quite such a long time. So this is Warley Road. Ooh, that's cold. Oddy-gody, it's been absolutely bucketing it down this morning, which is why we're doing an afternoon stint, which is quite unusual for us. So there you go, that's the site. And I think what we're going to need to do is to get back a little bit further from it, because otherwise this is going to look all squashed up. And here comes the siren. Been recording for 3 minutes, and here comes the siren. There you go, there's always one. So I think what we might do is go across here and see if this gives us the view that we're looking for. Just make sure I don't get knocked down. So, another interesting fact, during World War II, while we're talking about the war, RAF airmen were marched to Derby Baths, or the Lido, which was at South Shore, for a shower and or a naked swim. So there you go. It's an interesting one. So this is the corner of Warley Road, and these are the photos I'm going to show you now. So what we've got is, I've upgraded my picture thing. The top picture is the Derby Baths as they were, and you can just see the Hilton at the right hand side of it at the back of the frame, which is sort of on that corner there. Now the bottom photo of the two, the bottom one, that shows the building as it is. Now, when I first looked at that, I'd got it on the other side of the site. And in fact, somebody had actually said, when we were looking at it one day before, that they believed that the baths were at the... that won't be a good look, would it? Getting knocked down by a hearse. That the baths were actually at the right-hand side of this site. But actually, I've got a map from a Lancashire County Council service called Mario, which shows it on this right-hand side of the site. So that's quite interesting. We'll come on to that in a minute. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to walk up here and we're going to take a look at what they're doing at the Ambassador as well while we're so nearby. So this plot, because I've got to say I was a bit puzzled. I know I get puzzled easily, but I was a bit puzzled because I couldn't understand why all this plot looked like it would have practically fit a swimming pool. But apparently there was the Pembroke National Gardens here. And I think you'll understand when you see the map that they were at the right-hand side of the site. So the pool opened between the Promenade and Warley Road inside the gardens in 1939, and on the opening day 1,200 swimmers turned up to swim, and they held a mannequin and bathing parade to celebrate. Very, very quaint. And this, of course, is the closed Grand Hotel. So many famous competitions have been hosted at Derby Baths, and trials for the Olympics and the Commonwealth Games and the European Games and things like that. And apparently there was a BBC station in the basement because obviously programmes were televised as well. And the entrance to it was at Warley Road, which is the one that we've just walked down. So this is the other side, and you can see why we were all dazed and confused and why we all thought that it could potentially have been at that side of the site, because that's very low and rebated, just like you would expect a space for a swimming pool. So coming up to the Ambassador Hotel here now. So this is a free update, 2 for the price of 1. So you can see that they're putting breeze blocks as a retaining wall against the end building where they demolished what was the Ambassador. That looks a lot neater. Goodness me, that was a nice job. Well done, lads. So I presume that will become another, you see, there's a temporary car park or a building site. I think the guy's building flats. Well, apartments, sorry. So, the main pool at the Derby Baths was 165 by 55 feet. Now, I was a bit of a swimmer in my day, and I think an Olympic pool is 50 metres in new money. So that would be perhaps about right, wouldn't it? And it was between 3 and 16 feet deep, and originally filled with filtered and warmed seawater. I should think it was warmed as well. So in 1983 it was revamped with an attraction called Splashland, complete with water shoots. So this is the site as we're stood looking at it now. So if I show you this is that map that I mentioned from Mario. And I've coloured the site of what was the Derby Baths in yellow highlighter pen. So you can see that's on that corner down there where the grass was next to Warley Road. And at the right hand side of the highlighter pen, there's what looks a bit like a football pitch, I suppose, which is where we're standing now. So we are, let me just put this down and I'll point to it. We are kind of about here on the promenade, looking at this plan. So this is the site of the Grand Hotel. So the Grand would be kind of in that section there, and this at this side is the gardens. And you can actually see, if I just get a bit closer, you can actually see that there are paths and planting and footpaths and things through these gardens, and that's the shape of the baths, which is that shape with this protruding decoration on the front. Now, at first, I thought that it was at the right-hand side, and this was Derby Road, where we're standing now. But if you look carefully, this picture is back to front. Derby Baths is back to front. The picture's being flipped. So there you are. That's Derby Baths. Now, did you ever go to Derby Baths? Because I can't for the life in me remember ever going to Derby Baths. I definitely went to the Lido, but I can't remember ever going swimming at Derby Baths. So if you did, if you've got any memories of it and any recollections, feel free to leave us a comment below. And if you've got any photographs, you can either email them to me or you can pop them on our Visit Fylde Coast Facebook group, and we'll share them for other people to look at. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up, give it a like. Questions and comments, leave them below. And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the Visit Fylde Coast YouTube channel, because there's a lot more where this one came from. So from a windy and quite noisy Blackpool seafront, we will love you and leave you from the site of Derby Baths. And we'll finish on a lovely view and a lovely evening, lovely afternoon. Bonus shot. You have a lovely day now. See you later. Bye.